Alright guys, welcome back to another video. Recently we had the release of Black Adam by DC Studios and it stars Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. It's set in the universe of Shazam, or at least in the comics, but this one we're gonna have a crossover with Superman in the future, and I was gonna make a video about Black Adam, just sharing my thoughts, how I felt about the movie, how that kid was just so annoying, and a whole bunch of other stuff. But the next day when I woke up, I didn't really feel like talking about Black Adam, and quite honestly I don't even remember what happened in the movie. I know that gets thrown around a lot, but I certainly don't recall what are some of the events that happened and in what order. And it made me realize that superhero movies are just not that exciting to me anymore. It's a very common criticism that many people have voiced, and I'm certainly not the first one to point this out, but I still just wanted to talk about it and share my thoughts, and wanted to have a discussion with you guys to see where everyone is with superhero movies. Now, one thing about Hollywood is that when they really like a genre, they stick with it for years. From what I recall, back in early 2000s, it was fantasy movies such as Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, a little bit of Pirates of the Caribbean, movies like those, and then in early 2010s and beyond we saw the rise of young adult movies. Well, movies based on young adult novels, let me rephrase that. Movies such as The Maze Runner, Hunger Games, Divergent, etc, etc, etc. And now it seems that for the past decade or so we've been living in an era of superhero movies as well. Only except that we've had superhero movies for a while. Superhero movies have existed back from the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s and whatnot. But back then each movie used to feel unique. It used to have its own identity, its own criticisms, and because it was just so unexpected, it felt original. Compared to what we see today, it feels like we are just getting way too many superhero movies in a year. Not just superhero movies, but also TV shows. And it's starting to become a problem where a lot of these properties just seem to mix in with another, and there's nothing that really stands out about them. Like, I'm trying to think how Black Adam was that much different than Aquaman, which was again a great movie, but in essence all of these superhero movies feel like they're telling the same story. So that's one criticism that I have. Now obviously no one is forcing us to watch these superhero movies, right? But as someone that likes going to theaters and likes watching movies in theaters and having a discussion with people online, it seems that when this is the only type of genre that's constantly being put out, then you really don't have any other choice but to watch this genre. And what's funny is that now I'm actually inadvertently starting to appreciate genres that aren't superhero just because they offer something completely different. I never thought I would be into rom-coms, but I really enjoyed The Lost City because it was different. Anytime there's a wacko movie like Don't Worry Darlings or Smile or Tickets to Paradise, I really look forward to them just because it feels refreshing. Yet when we have superhero movies come out, I start questioning if we really need it, if it's going to be different, if it's even worth watching them in theaters. In fact, I still have not booked my tickets for Black Panther, and I haven't seen Miss Marvel or She-Hulk just because I'm feeling that Marvel fatigue. Now, it's not the fault of the actors that work in this space, that work as superheroes, or nor is it the fault of the people actually creating these movies, but I think the fault really lies in Hollywood and the higher ups that keep ordering one after the other. And I mean, why wouldn't they? They do make a lot of money. And so it makes me wonder if there is a case of the reason why these movies are making so much money is because there's also nothing else to watch that is as grandiose as a Marvel movie. Think about it, a lot of the high production movies are superhero movies, and if they're not superhero movies, we don't really get to see those visual spectacles. I mean, when was the last time we got a movie like Lord of the Rings, like Pirates of the Caribbean, like Terminator? The only example that I can think of is Top Gun off the top of my head, and Avatar 2 that is going to come out in theaters, but that's kind of it. All these AAA movies seem to be reserved for a superhero genre, and it seems that it's the only thing that the studios, the people that make the movies, are confident in. And I know I'm not the only one that has the opinion that superhero movies are starting to get boring. In fact, I've seen a lot of chatter online about people just not being interested or wowed by superhero movies. Back in 2008, when Iron Man released, I could only imagine what it must have been like to see a superhero movie, to see someone put on a great performance, to put on a quality story, and be the first in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But now that we have 20 plus movies, again, it just feels the same. It feels formulaic, it feels uninspired, it feels bland. Now, of course, you do have some exceptions here and there, most notably being the Batman. And the reason why I feel the Batman is different than other superhero movies is because the Batman is not a superhero movie as much as it's a character movie. You sort of build the world around a person, not a superhero persona, and that's what makes it successful, whereas it seems that the idea of a movie like Black Adam starts off with, here is a superhero, let's make him do superhero things, that's it. Whereas the Batman starts off with, here is a human being, here are all of the problems that are going wrong, and here is why he feels that he needs to go ahead and bring some positive change. Anyway, that's been my rant on superhero movies. Let me know how you guys feel, if you guys are still going to go watch them in theaters, or now if you're only interested in watching them at home once they come out, or even just completely skipping them downright. Anyway, I will see you guys next time.